What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Drinking Cast. I'm JERMgaming, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by the not-so-evil Viking 13, currently enjoying Mexicoma.
And a Hellraiser
IPA. We are also joined by Wildcard, Joel.
Heyo!
And we're joined by Debbie.
Debbie's too drunk to even talk.
She's not quite hugging a chip bag drunk.
We'll get there.
I forgot she did that. I'm sorry, I'm totally laughing at your wife. That's really funny.
She was celebrating.
No, she was leaning, like holding the chip bag. I was like, what is going on?
And we're also joined by the wives and John.
Hey, John. Hey, guys.
Alright, so tonight...
John's first words in the podcast, actually. A really inappropriate hey.
He's so excited about it.
Please don't find me.
So we delayed the podcast this week because Thursday, H1Z1 came out. We're like, we're going to play it Thursday and then we can talk about it this weekend. Did anyone actually play H1Z1?
What actually happened on Thursday?
Well, what actually happened was, it was supposed to go live at what, 1 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, what happened around like noonish?
Delayed.
Well, they said it'll be going live in 2 hours. So I thought, well, am I on the wrong time zone? And then about an hour later, it was like, it'll be going live in 3 hours. And then you guys started telling me on Twitter, apparently they were having, what type of issues were they having?
Just testing server bugs.
Okay, like the last minute rush.
Yeah,
Wasn't...
and then getting it uploaded to Steam and all that.
So it finally, when did it officially go live? Like 6 p.m.?
5:30.
5:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
And then,
No, 7 o'clock.
No.
Well, it doesn't matter when it actually went live because no one could get in.
Yeah,
Like,
I bought it at 5:30, but
probably 10 people played it Thursday evening. I mean,
Yeah.
It was nobody.
and they were all streaming on Twitch.
Because there were 200 game servers and one login server. One. Which, again, they said, well, what did they say, Dave? What about there's only so much you can test for?
Yeah, I need to find this blog post. I believe it was by one of the Battlefield 4 server architects where he basically said that launch day server connections are essentially a legitimate DDoS. Like, it's your actual customer is just smashing you with traffic. And you can mitigate some of that by buying a lot of extra hardware for a lot of extra money, but at a certain point there's just no more returns, and you're going to be spending millions of dollars to let a few 100,000 more people in. And really the best solution is to prepare for a large amount and then just kind of have everyone else be patient. Otherwise you're just wasting money.
I think it's a bad plan to plan for gamers to be patient.
Yeah, that's the weak link, I think, in the plan.
I don't think no one is patient. I mean, John Smedley, he's the creative director, or no, he's the head of Sony Online Entertainment?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting some really nasty tweets on Thursday from people who were really upset they couldn't play a game was worth
They couldn't play the day one of an early access alpha. There's problems? What?
Well, I mean, it had a smoother launch than most AAA games in the past year that have multiplayer, because within 12 hours you could log in and play on a server. You might get disconnected or kicked, though it might be a few issues, but you could actually log in and play, unlike, say, Drive Club, where we're going on 3 months and they're just pretending like that whole part of the game doesn't exist anymore. I mean, there's been way worse launches in the past year. I mean, most games now are getting patched for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm sure it's going to get patches. They got a patch today, but you could actually play it within 12 hours.
It's being patched right now, actually.
Probably. Yeah.
You know what might have been helpful is if they just launched it actually at midnight.
It makes no difference these daese.
People will just stay out.
There were people, multiple people had
less.
taken off of work.
Dave,
for
what time
early
were you
access
up
launch.
on launch day to play
The
it?
servers went live at 2:30. Like, actually playable at 2:30.
AM or PM?
AM.
On
So
Friday, the day after.
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
So you were up until 2:30 AM to
log
play
in.
it. So the midnight thing would not work.
Yeah.
Because Dave.
Yeah. There's a lot of Daves out there.
But maybe that would have... I mean, it might have been just that many people and maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, but that's the thing is they can say, well, there's just no way to anticipate this. But if every major game release goes, there was no way to anticipate this, someone has to be anticipating it. I think it's not, there's no way to anticipate it. I think that's the PR line. With what they're saying is, like Dave said, it would cost a lot of money to deliver a smooth experience. I think they're making a conscious decision a lot of the time to have the game break the first day because so many people are joining that it's a DDoS. And they're totally okay with that, but if you can't say that as a PR,
Right.
You can't say, tough guys, get over it.
Yeah.
But
It might be one of those things where it's like the game costs $50 million total for its 2.5-3 year lifetime to make. and it'll take $4 million to make sure everyone can get on launch day. Or we can spend $500,000 and like most people can get in on launch day.
Whereas Call of Duty, they'll spend $4 million.
Exactly.
And we're totally making these numbers up.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
They'll spend $4 million because they're going to make $700 million,
Yeah.
and that's all they care about. Debbie is holding a hat over her dog's eyes.
It's not just any hat.
It's a handmade hat. That's true. And then there was also a day one controversy with H1Z1.
Yes.
Despite them talking many times. Well, Debbie, what have they been saying about pay to win throughout this process? Debbie is our Dave. Like, Dave knows everything about DayZ, and we don't learn about it. Dave just tells us. That's Debbie for H1Z1.
Yeah, Debbie, this is your time to shine.
Well, they've been saying it's not going to be pay to win. That means you can't buy ammo, guns, food, water, anything that would give you an advantage in the game. However, in a way, you can buy them, but it's available to everyone on the server that is within running distance.
Get them in the loot drop.
The airdrops.
But no, so you think that's pay to win?
I don't think so. No.
It's pay to change the balance of the server.
Exactly.
For sure.
It like does a lot of changes and whatnot. So.
Yeah, but as long as you have weapons that are like easily found, like I found
it's the same
weapons.
weapons that can be
loose
found
found.
in the
It's
game.
like, yeah, you can get a weapon
it.
for not hunting 10
You're
minutes.
just throwing a wild card in the game.
Me and this
throwing
random
a
guy
wild
online, just last night, it dropped, and we killed the guy, and we stole his weapons.
Sweet. And to their credit, since like they had
But I felt like Lost. Have you seen the Lost episode when the cargo dropped?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like, I was like, oh my god! We were all running towards it. We saw other people come in the woods, and it was like Hunger Games.
well, that's what happens in Rust. In Rust, in the original version of Rust, there's like drops would come in. You'd see just like swarms of people running towards it to beat each other to death with rocks. But to Sony's, or I guess Sony Online Entertainment. Does the studio have its own name that worked on this?
SOE is a separate Sony studio. Yeah, it's
okay.
it's
but
like
they don't have like
standalone.
sub studios that were working on this.
No, this is just the overarching SOE studio. Yeah.
So they, to their credit, they are offering refunds for anyone who's upset about that.
Until Monday.
Until Monday. Now, does that get rid of your copy in Steam, or does it just give you your money back? Because the refunds are not through Steam; it's through their website.
No, they're communicating with Steam, and you initiate the refund ideally through Sony. But then Sony has Steam approve it, so
Gotcha.
it is through Steam, yeah.
So they will take your copy back. Okay.
Yeah, so for the airdrops, they actually talked about the balancing today. The problem was that on day one, first of all, most people hadn't realized that there was supposed to be a slight chance of guns and ammo in the airdrops. That was very briefly discussed just a few days ago, but it kind of, no one really noticed until on the first night streams, the airdrops that came in were dropping within about 100 meters of the person calling it in. And every drop had ammo and guns.
So they have balancing issues.
So what they're saying is it's currently like 150 to 300 meters where it comes in. They're saying it's going to be like 700 to 1300 after the balance. There's going to be a lower chance of weapons, and the plane's going to move slower and travel further over the map so more people can see it coming in.
I think when I played last time, we heard this sound for a very long time. James could hear it too. I didn't see the plane, but you hear this. Like I was like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
It was a long time since, like, the way people were making it out, like, it dropped it right at their feet is bullcrap. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, it took a long time.
Day one it did. Like, the original version of the game, it was dropping very
so they already did a patch before after that?
There's been, like, 4 patches, like, today, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
They're doing a really good job.
Another
They're doing a really
thing-
good job.
Okay, so I was going to say, if that was the same, I was like, then there were I was like, it took a while. Like, it was in the air for, like, probably, like, 2 or 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They're also adding a lot of heat to the airdrops. So any activity, like where it drops, it's generating a lot of heat on the heat map, which means zombies are going to be more attracted.
Can you explain that system really quick when you say heat?
Yeah, the heat is just any place where there's a lot of activity. So anything from stepping on, like just running around, it generates heat. If you're fighting with people, it generates more heat, so more zombies are attracted to the
That's
area.
pretty cool.
If you're exploding things, that's like obviously a ton. Like you're just burning your face off.
And I've noticed that working. Like any towns where a couple people would show up and start fighting with each other, you're running around like hacking each other to bits. Zombies, like if there was 3 or 4 zombies when they got into town, by the time they were done beating each other up, there could be like 10 or 15 zombies.
Yep.
That's a cool system.
I do like
It
the
is really
zombies that ones that would just slowly walk after you, and then one would just like slowly walk and just be like, and just start running. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Well,
I jumped on top
let's
of the
move
van.
from launch
I'm like,
into our impressions. So, like, what's everyone's first impressions? Obviously, none of us have played it for more than a couple hours. But
My very first impression was jumping in the game. I got into a car, and I'm like, sweet, I got a car! And then I got disconnected from the server. I didn't know that. I couldn't get out of the car, and it was broken, so I was just sitting there looking around. As I saw this one guy he's like, looks in the window, and he's just like, can I get in too? And then he's like, just wanders away. I was like, help me!
So Joel can't figure out the controls, gets stuck in a car. All right, that's Joel's impression.
That is a problem we're having if the server goes down, and they are going down frequently right now just because of issues on them. But if they go down, you don't necessarily know the server's down. You just know
They
that
popped up, I think, really quick one time. But
sometimes it doesn't.
okay.
Though. Sometimes everything stops responding, like it has on DayZ before. We'll go where we suddenly there's a huge lag picking up items. The lag gets worse and worse and worse, and then everyone's like, "Hey, I can't pick up anything now." And then usually you get the server disconnect a couple minutes after that. So it appears to be a similar thing on H1Z1. But so Joel, what do you think about like? Not that we want to compare this to H1Z1, and there's a lot of clickbait articles
to
going
DayZ.
around. Or to DayZ, sorry. There's a lot of clickbait articles going around like, is this the DayZ Killer? Two games can exist at the same time. It doesn't have to kill anything. Like, I mean, Battlefield isn't the Call of Duty killer, and Call of Duty isn't the Battlefield killer, and Titanfall didn't kill anything. Like, there are multiple games that can exist. So,
Titanfall killed itself.
ignoring that, we do need to compare it to DayZ a little bit because they're both trying to accomplish similar goals along slightly divergent paths.
Yeah.
They're not opposites of each other, but they are variations.
I think
it's
funny.
okay to say like DayZ Killer in this sense because it's not. It's it'd be the same as like Titanfall, like Call of Duty. I think like the latest Call of Duty multiplayer is freaking awesome. Like, and they have a lot of similar things from Titanfall. Like the jetpack boosting around and stuff. It's just super slick. And you'd be like, okay, if this one game is just a little bit better at doing the same thing, yeah, I'm probably not going to go back to the other just because. This one does it better.
At the same time, like Call of Duty wasn't a Battlefield 4 killer. Battlefield 4 was a Battlefield 4
exactly.
killer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, those games are very, very different. You know what I mean?
Right.
So my second impression, because I played for about 2 hours and the map was stable, other than the rain just looking like 1990 rain, like it was
It's
bad.
bad.
And it won't
The
stop
fog.
raining. It
Well,
won't
it's the
stop.
Pacific. It's the Pacific Northwest. That's reasonable.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
raining
No,
and foggy.
I
But you're stuck
love
looking at
the
it.
rain. I wish the game would be raining constantly, but just a good rain. I love it. Okay, the sound effects going inside a building and hear it rain on the. I was
So good.
and then the sound effects. You walk like you hear like even like a hammer, everything. It has that echo and like reverb to it. Like I don't know, I was sold. I was like, this is awesome. Like that's what I wanted in DayZ. I want that immersion feeling like I'm actually in the environment, like attached to the ground, like actually walking around. And that was awesome. Like controls are smooth. They worked really well. Like other than the zombies kind of glitching around right now, but like it was fun. I had a blast. But the lighting is awesome. Going in a house, like using a flashlight, not being able to see anything. That was cool.
And they're actually adding more lighting effects in the future. Right now,
Yeah,
there's no divider between interior and exterior lighting. They're going to do like you can do in CryEngine, where you can create a light like sub box, an invisible
That's cool.
template.
Yeah, so it kind of like changes a little bit when you go in.
When you get close to it, it actually fades in more detailed lights for the interior. So the interior will get its like own shading separate from the global world, and as you move from house to house,
Dude,
you
I'm
have
so
darker interiors.
It was also me and this random guy. We explored this like factory or something like that. It was just so cool. It was just pitch dark, but the flashlight worked really well. His flashlight worked well. I don't know. It was really fun, like looting and searching for stuff. And the amount of crafting they have is insane. Like just day one, they got like 1,000 different things you can do. I only figured out a few of them. I kind of by accident. I made berry juice with water. I was, I was actually trying to eat the berries, but I clicked another button and I crafted something. But it's just I'm sold. I mean, their world's pretty small. It's not like insanely detailed yet, but they're
60
building
and 64 square kilometers.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It feels fine,
But it's still pretty big. It took me. I couldn't find James, so it's still.
Well, think that'd be
Just
a
no,
quarter
I'm
the
not
size
worried
of
about
DayZ's
world
map.
size.
That's
I'm not
big.
worried about world size. They're going to make it massive. I'm just worried. I want to be able to play the game and it work well.
Yeah.
Even the jumping, it's janky, but it still
But it
works when
works.
you press spacebar.
Yeah, that's one of the most immediate
Yeah.
comparisons you can make to DayZ. DayZ is simulating a lot of things. H1Z1 simulates a lot less, but the end result is H1Z1 feels much smoother and more intuitive for a lot of things. Like, from moment one, jumping works. Punching stuff in the face works. Most of the really simple actions.
Dude, I was kind of
people are
amazed that it
gonna do.
actually had like a third punch. We like punch, and it does this like mega swing. I was like, yeah!
But I was actually able to punch zombies, knock them to the ground, and run away. Like in DayZ, that pretty much never happens because the melee system it's just broken.
I told Dave, I think they're on the opposite spectrums of development. DayZ started out with a pre-made map that they're updating. They started with this giant world that I think is very detailed and pretty realistic in some sense, right? Like the topographical map. H1 started, they have a small map. They don't have that pre-built for them. They started with a good base engine. That's what I think. So I'm excited that the world's going to get bigger, but I'm just excited that not every patch is going to break the core game.
Right.
So I think when DayZ gets there, I think it's going to be really good, but it's the fact that it's going to take forever for them to just keep the core game working.
Right.
And so it's always back and forth. But yeah, no, I mean it was fun. It felt like Left 4 Dead.
It feels good to play a game at like 60 FPS.
Yes.
And it
Yes,
makes
it
a
does,
big
yes.
difference. Just
I don't think they don't have anti-aliasing in the game because I noticed that like on the
they don't.
They have post-effect AA.
Yeah, 'cause
not
the
actual
power
hardware
lines and
AA.
It's
stuff
not to
look
like
pretty
try
bad.
4K master race here. I don't
Yeah.
notice any aliasing issues.
Even on 1440p, the
you know what I mean, like the power lines.
the power
I know,
lines
pretty ultra, but
okay.
it was
the power lines do a lot of.
You remember,
shutdown
like
and-
for an MMO, it looks great.
yeah, you know exactly.
For a shooter, it doesn't look very good. But
See,
like,
I know
overall,
Dave would reject, but it's like he goes for the hyper realistic like bullet physics and stuff. But I would gladly remove that since you can't really enjoy that in DayZ right now because it's so laggy.
right.
Then I'm just like, maybe put that in later when you got the system under control. But it's like, I'm not going to notice any of that crap if it's actually working fine.
DayZ has a more
I would
ambitious
get rid of that
vision,
first,
but
I
H1Z1 is much
Yeah.
smoother right now. Like you can tell, SOE has way more people to throw at stuff like UI menus and stuff. Like
Yeah.
they have a launcher that tells you information about the game. Like it tells you that there's patches and there's
and where you can buy
developer things.
T-shirts.
Yeah, where you can buy swag. But like
how
it
many
shows
Twitch
you how
people are
it's updated.
streaming.
When you log in, there are it has an actual good splash screen with music and it feels creepy. And when you go to look through a server, they have icons showing you instead of the server's naming friendlies only. You can't hurt people. Blah blah blah. It's all lies. They have actual icons showing you this server restricts
legend,
this,
yeah.
this, and this.
They even have the rules.
No, they have PVE like where you can't kill.
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people.
No, I'm saying the legend is there on the screen.
Yeah.
Is what you're
Right,
saying.
right.
Yeah.
I mean they.
I
again,
played in a
it's-
PvE one, and just to be used to playing DayZ, I was like, oh, I'm friendly. They're like, guys, I can't hit you. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we all pals here. It was fun.
It's cool.
Dude, I
It's
love
nice to
it.
have
So
the
much
option.
fun.
I
was
wouldn't
like,
mind if
we're
DayZ
just
had
killing
that
zombies
option
and
just so you
enjoying
can enjoy the
ourselves.
game without having to, like, every person you see wants to kill you just because they're bored. Like, they've been running
Yeah.
for 3 hours and they just want to hurt
Because I
something.
think the DayZ experience is lost. I don't think it's ever coming back. Whether the game is super awesome at the end, you're never going to get that crowd when it first started. It's never
I think the glory days of the
Yeah.
mod are never coming back.
just because it was so new, it was like, oh man,
I think the
I finally
original,
found
the
something.
final game could
You
still
know?
be amazing, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's kind of
I
like
think
Battlefield
that
4
the
might
crowd's
be great
never
now,
going to be like that again.
but it doesn't matter because of all
I
the
played
people
that
play
today
it
too.
suck.
It was pretty good.
Debbie, what did you think? You've been really excited about H1Z1.
Oh my word. I actually had a chance to sit down and play it for a good half hour today. And so far, all I did was I crafted a bow, and I stalked a deer for a good 20 minutes, and I killed it.
Was it a good time?
It was a great time.
Would you say the deer animations are pretty dang
Pretty
Yeah.
looking deer.
And-
like when they're not like glitching or skipping away?
I haven't seen any of that yet. I've
Dude,
just
it
seen
looks
this movie.
awesome.
And the
I was
aggro
like-
on the deer is
They
amazing.
it's turn and
it's
stuff like that and
legit,
bank. It was like really impressive. I'm like, the game is kind of blowing me away from like just second day
Polish.
Yeah,
Of polish.
it's like how polished it is,
For an
just
alpha,
from what
I
it
think
is.
it's pretty polished.
It's not like, oh, we have a running animation that's absolutely hideous. It's not amazing, but it works. It's like I press forward, I'm going forward.
Yeah, it feels like Rust, honestly, like with the animation stuff. Like, it's a little cartoony, it's not super realistic, but it works fine. Like, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
For this style they're going for.
Yeah.
Let's talk about zombies. I think these zombies are way better than DayZ's for a couple of reasons. I like that in DayZ, it feels like if you get within a certain perimeter of a zombie and make any noise or like do any alerting things, the zombies lock onto you pretty quick and they're pretty hard to get rid of.
In
like
what?
in DayZ, they're
Okay.
pretty aggressive. In H1Z1, it feels like the zombies can see you and just not be interested. If you're not doing anything interesting, like if you just walk past nice and
This
slow,
will follow you slowly.
they might follow
Yeah.
you slowly, but then they lose interest pretty quick. Like you actually have to be aggressive, really near them. You have to
Now,
make
Jeremiah,
noise.
just a note, right now they are in easy mode, as they call it.
Okay.
They are not turning up the aggro just because the server was lagging so much, they had to turn down the zombie aggro by
That makes
a
sense.
lot.
They do feel kind of easy.
Yeah, they're very
I
easy.
mean,
right
if they
now.
start chasing you, because like with the heat map, more of them will show up. They can get enough that it's serious. All the pitter patter you're hearing is Debbie's cat is going insane right now.
Dave, the question tonight is, have you been to the police station yet?
Joel, you should be asking me is have I been to a town yet?
Oh, never.
Or
have
have
you
I
gone
spent
into a
the-
town yet?
Briefly.
Are you serious?
Dave.
I told you. I was like, when DayZ's finished, Dave will physically not be able to play the game because it will be too much simulation that he'll be in the woods, never see anyone. He'll never be able to go into
And
town.
I'm gonna love every second of it too.
Yeah, I know, but we'll miss you, Dave, because we're like, man, we lost.
I've actually only found one large town so far. It was kind of cool. I was picking berries because I was low on hunger, and like in DayZ, like you see the sprinting zombies first, and you're like, wait, what are the zombies doing? And then you kind of like lead in front of them, and you're like, oh crap, there's people. So I watched them go to the town that I had just passed, and the server I was on, the loot was just not spawning, so I was about to actually just give it up. But I saw the guys running into the town, and I flanked around to the opposite side to avoid running into them. Looted a few houses, but once again, the loot wasn't spawning correctly. So actually what happened was I was going for the grocery store, which is kind of near the edge of town on my side, and then I saw like another zombie train down, like going down the side of the building. I'm like, oh, nope, time to call it. And I just left town.
And you die so quick in the game right now because you like lose health pretty quick.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, you starve to death really quickly.
Did you see the guy who did a test?
20 minutes.
Just
standing there.
He died. But anyways, I went to the police station, Dave.
Mhm.
There was 3 cop cars right there. I hopped into one of them. I almost had all this stuff to have a cop car. I just needed a battery.
Joel, why wasn't that texted immediately?
I found the cop car the other day. It was on fire, but it was still drivable. Like the tires were on fire. Yeah, I drove it up the hill and we took the spark plugs out. Me and another guy stuck them in a truck, and we had a truck. It only went like 20 miles an hour, but it worked. It was ours.
But it was I got to the police station. I was like, I immediately felt like I was playing Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
Like it really feels like I'm playing Fallout New Vegas. Like it was just cool. Like it's like it's not a realistic looking world, but it feels like Fallout New Vegas world, where it's like it has essence of realism, but it also has just good plain old fun. Like
It's
this
not,
is a cool
it's
little
not
area.
realistic, but it's still immersive.
Okay,
You can
what
still
at
appreciate
Yates
it.
Hotel was supposed to be Bates Hotel. I was
That
like,
was awesome.
you get what it is. And I was like, okay, I explored
It
every
feels
inch of it. It
more-
was so much fun.
It feels more gamey. DayZ
Yeah.
doesn't feel gamey a lot of the time. Like
Yeah.
again with like the UI and stuff, DayZ looks like someone typed Times New Roman. Like, I mean, it feels like a lot of it's just hacked together.
But the thing is,
to
what
make
they're trying to do
it
is
work.
give a game experience of a zombie. Like when people think of Walking Dead, I want to have that experience of going to that town.
Right.
Well, DayZ probably not going to give you that. It's
Probably
going to be a very different experience. This game will probably give you that experience because they're like
Yeah.
trying to make that experience. Like, hey, you want a town that looks like that? We'll make that town.
This is like the ideal experiences will be like for DayZ, the final realized vision will be you can have your campsite out in the woods, you can have gardens, you can have, you know, your shack or your shed or your cave, you've got all your gear stored up, you have loot drops other places, and you're just surviving. H1Z1 is you want to get all your friends together, hop in and like run around, find food, kill zombies, you know, drive cars through crowds of zombies, and just have like fun.
Okay.
I mean, it's the impression
exactly.
I'm getting
From the zombies, like, and, you know, it's like you can tell, like, just from playing, you're like, this game's gonna go somewhere. You can just tell, like, even from the zombies. But
It's
imagine
pretty
this,
good.
like, I can't wait to go into some town and then just double cross all of you by chucking something that like makes all the zombies appear, lock you in some room, be like, see you suckers, and be like, oh no.
Joel,
Like-
you realize that you're going to see us again, though, right? we're not just randoms you ran into, like, I'm going to betray this whole group. Oh crap, these are my actual friends. Oh, whoa, whoops.
Oh, something else that happened today. I was in a house loading, and a guy came in right behind me. I turned around, he was right there. He punched me in the face. We had a punching fight for a good, like, 5 minutes. We were pretty low on health, and we were getting really bored because we didn't have weapons. We were just punching each other. Like, alright, this is bored. So I did the hand gesture animation, like, you're raising your hand like, hi. And we both just did it at the same time, went our separate ways, and left.
I hate you.
We just got really bored of fighting each other. It was just wasn't there.
Boy,
Bro,
this,
just had
this
to
actually
punch it out.
hurts.
Like, good.
Punch out.
Why did I do this?
Like, this is boring. Let's just go.
Were you punching him in the head?
Yeah, just punching him in
And
the
it
head.
took that long?
Yeah.
So I've knocked people out with like 5 good hits to the head and they go down. I had a guy trying to shoot me with a bow and arrow earlier. I did the DayZ thing. You just strafe back and forth and they can't aim fast enough.
Yeah.
And then I just danced around and punched him in the head. He kept trying to use his bow still. Like, bows aren't close quarter weapons. But
He was going to 360 no-scope you with the bow.
he did pull out an axe, but he had to give that up because like I was punching him so he would recoil and he couldn't get the axe back up in time for me like, before I hit him again.
Nice.
But I was able to knock him out, but then I crouched over and I was trying to take all his stuff. He had like a couple guns. And then someone shot me with an arrow. And then I saw on the kill screen zombies swarmed them and like someone killed them.
Have you picked up a backpack yet?
Have I what?
Have you gotten a backpack in the game?
Only on my first night when the servers were just wrecked,
Okay.
so...
I got the backpack. I was like, James, why is it so satisfying to have a backpack? He's like, because you know you can shovel everything into that sucker. And I was like, but I'm not even like that super into loot. But he's like, it's ingrained in all of us.
Now, Joel,
Well,
were
it gives you
you
options.
Were you and James able to meet up?
No, we didn't meet up, but we both had hilarious stories. I heard James like fighting some random person, was really funny.
I had an amazing first encounter, or first death, I guess you could say. I met a bunch of people my first night. The spawns seem to be a little bit limited right now, so I had people like spawning in front of me, even though I tried to go out of the way. But I finally came across a guy, and I was about to die of thirst, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm dying. I can't find any water." I was like, "Oh, me too." He's like, "Well, here, you want my stuff?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm dying too. You want some of my stuff?" Like we're both just about to die. I kept noticing like he had a friend who was like crouched behind this tree off in the distance. I was like, well, he might be dying. Maybe his friend like is going to try to get me with all the loot and bring it back to him or something. Like maybe he's just trying to get my guard down. So I was like, well, you know, I'm not going to make it either. Like, does your friend want some loot? And he turns around like, my friend? And the guy is sprinting towards him with a knife in his hand. And he goes, oh, that's not my friend. Oh, he's trying to kill me. And then he immediately stabs both of us. Like, we're so low on health, we just both died instantly. It's like, oh, that's not my friend.
Honestly, like, I'm not trying to rag on DayZ, but the melee working is a big deal. Like, when you don't really have any weapons, working melee...
It was fun, yeah.
It feels really good because
yeah.
it's actually useful right now. You can actually sneak up on someone, sucker punch them a couple times and take their stuff. Where in DayZ, like, you might get a one-hit kill, like, knockout on them, or you might the other night.
But the melee's not... It's just not fun to use.
DayZ, it's so broken right
it's
now.
Not
it just doesn't work. Would you agree, Dave?
I mean, yeah, it's not finished yet, so it's...
I know it's not finished, but I'm saying this isn't finished either. So this unfinished melee, I think, works way better.
And I definitely miss in DayZ when it was the chivalry style. Like, that's not back yet.
Yeah.
So it's still cursor-based, and it still feels really disconnected. When in the beginning, it was laggy, but at least when you saw things connect, they actually connected.
Yeah.
Every game with melee should just rent Chivalry's
the way
melee
DayZ
system,
works,
just
though,
license it.
DayZ does not work very well when you're moving doing melee. That's the big thing.
Well,
like you have to stop.
Nothing in
It's
DayZ
like
works
Resident
well
Evil
when you're moving because of the low server FPS.
Exactly. But it's like it sucks when you have to like run, stop, line up your axe, hit, move around, stop, line up your axe, hit. It should be just like you move and hit.
And that's why, like I was saying, when it was still sweep based. No, in standalone before they're currently still rebuilding the melee system, and when it was still based on your object visually hitting
have they now
things,
rebuilt it like 5 times now?
This is the second time, yeah.
Maybe the second time.
Yeah,
they had the original version, then they did the swipe version. Now
Well, they disable stuff occasionally.
Yeah, they turned it off entirely. They had like a very simple cursor-based system, and it was awful. So they rebuilt a placeholder system because they knew it was going to be 4 or 5 months before the final one was going to be even like in the first version.
Yeah.
So we're in like the middle placeholder one. But what I was saying was, in the beginning, when it was still that sweep-based, you could actually time attacks when you were moving. But now that it's cursor-based again, that's basically impossible to do right now.
I hope one day they'll get that. And I think it's not just are they going to be able to develop it, are they going to have someone in the team that recognizes that's what they need to go with, you know what I mean? But if they have someone that's just the hardcore original mod, like, no, this just works, this is how it is. I'm like, they're never going to get to that point. Right. So I have total confidence they're going to get to the end of development and they'll actually get some smoothing. But what that is, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
I don't
going
think
to be
they
just
know at this point.
I don't think they'll ever get to a point where the melee is like actually working like you'd expect it to work in a game. You know.
I think H1Z1's release is either going to push the DayZ dev team, or it's going to like make them very sad. I don't know, because I mean Sony, Bohemia. It doesn't matter how many copies DayZ sold. Bohemia will never be able to keep up with SOE.
I think that all the DayZ Killer articles are extra funny because the developers are actually like, I wouldn't say like they're best friends, but it's a very small development.
They don't have that attitude about it at all.
Exactly,
or
but
publicly.
People are creating this dichotomy when the developers are like, no, like we're excited to try it. Like
I think where it comes from is the people that just are so freaking diehard DayZ that are like, it can't do any wrong, that's wrong. Well, it's just alpha. I'm like, yeah, but like, have you seen development? Like, they're still working on the running. It's a year. Like, they did it 5 times. Like, that's where I'm going. I don't know if they're going to get to a point where it's going to be a
DayZ has development problems.
We
know there's no way they can hit their initial timelines. They just can't.
Their art, their assets and stuff like that is awesome, phenomenal. But it's when it comes to their animation,
is that what I thought you said?
I heard that too.
Art, their assets. What did you think?
They're phenomenal.
Phenomenal. That's what Joel cares about in a survival
DayZ ass.
Well, that's the thing is I think because this is a kind of a new genre, people feel like there can be only one. No one's like, is Dragon Age Inquisition a Skyrim killer? No,
And there were articles that said I saw articles.
Really?
Like, yeah.
All right. Most people don't think that though.
But yeah,
if you're like, hey, or you know,
such clickbait.
yeah. Do you want to play Divinity: Original Sin? You want to play Dragon Age Origins? You want to play The Witcher? Most people want to play all of them because they're fun. Like, I mean, that's if you like the game, play the game. I plan on playing DayZ and H1Z1. Right now, I'm going to play more H1Z1 because it's new and it's smooth and it's polished. And for me, DayZ is fun. Once a month or so, we can hop in and have some good old DayZ fun and hop out before all the broken stuff really starts to annoy you. Like, if I had to play DayZ every night, I couldn't do it.
Mm.
But H1Z1, I probably can't either because there's just not enough to do at the moment. But right now, it's the casual. It's filling that casual
maybe why
slot.
Dave loves it so much is because he hasn't gotten to actually see the other features in DayZ that don't work. Because he's so bad in the woods. It's like, dude, the trees look fine, man. Crawling works
Dave
fine.
got to try eating people for the first time the other night.
We ate a lot of people, actually.
A lot of people. It was tasty. But yeah, anyone have any last thoughts on the first couple hours of H1Z1? We'll obviously check back in later. Like,
You haven't asked me yet.
you've been voicing opinions this entire time. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, here and there. Yeah.
Okay, Dave.
Go on.
Oh, this is where Dave gets to talk about what he doesn't like.
Bring
No,
it.
I actually went into it with like zero expectations because I didn't want to ride the hype train and I wanted to try to be neutral as much as possible. So I've actually been, I'd say I've been impressed actually because I went into it with no expectations. Like ignoring the launch day issues, which like I've said before.
For launch day issues, they were minor though.
It's early access launch. Like if you don't expect issues, like I really have. I have pity for you, like in life, because there's gonna be a lot more disappointments coming your way. And I seem to have had really bad luck. I've played about 3.5 actual hours in game now, and I keep getting really low FPS servers where I've had some. I've been DayZ'd a few times. I've had zombies phase through walls. I've been hit by zombies over 30 feet away and stuff like that. I've gotten a lot of that, but all of that is just a matter, just like DayZ, of getting the server FPS down. And it sounds like they're going to have that under control. They're planning on having it under control in the next few days. So ignoring stuff like that I think they're going to fix pretty quickly. The environment, I think, is definitely not as realistic as DayZ by any means. But it's immersive in a Left 4 Dead way, where it's gamey,
right.
but it's cool. There's cool places.
Yeah,
to
it's
see.
not as realistic, but it doesn't have to be. Like, that's not the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not going for photorealism, and that's okay. And I've said it before. I hope they go more stylized, like just more State of Decay style, like over the top zombie movie stuff. Almost.
It could look like TF2 if it was fun. Like I don't care. I don't care what the style is as long as it's good and runs smooth and works well. Like do whatever you want, you know. And which is I think kind of the attitude they've taken because the game it runs really well.
It does. I did find there's some combination of ultra settings where you can be running on ultra and like you check a few more options and it goes from 60 FPS to like 14. It's some combination of HDR
It's an optimization hole there.
Yeah, it's like a combination of HDR and ambient occlusion you can hit, and it just like it's like a I don't know like a some sort of loop you hit, and it just destroys your FPS. But once again, it's alpha. That's what you expect.
The best thing we do know with that is they can actually utilize cores since it's not on the reality.
Is it 64-bit?
Real virtuality, and no, it's 32-bit.
But it's
But it can still use more than one core.
It is multi-threaded, at least partially. Yeah, because it's based off of the PlanetSide engine.
yeah, because PlanetSide does run really well.
Mm-hmm. It didn't in beta, but
yeah.
PlanetSide had some rough moments, but and actually, if you have PlayStation 4, PlanetSide 2's open beta, or I don't know if it's open beta or closed beta. It starts January 20th. If you want to try it out.
Oh, cool.
What's up, Maya? You want to sneeze on us again? You good?
this
Cool.
is mine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just telling
the,
your dog to shush.
the fundamentals, the
Shush,
H1Z1
dog.
are they're definitely there. The melee combat is pretty great. I hope I can find a server soon where I can actually try it because all the zombies I've fought so far were either desync or like completely immobile, like not aggroing at all. So I haven't really had a chance to try melee. And then I've always been so low on health from starving that all my player versus player fights have ended in a single hit. Like I just ragdoll like as soon as the fight starts. I've always been so weak. And of course, both the servers that I've tried in the last few days had the loot spawning problem. So in an hour and a half, I only found 4 water bottles and a bottle of pills.
Now, is it a loot spawning
Now,
problem, or
yeah,
is it just
but
there's
you've
there's
also
way
been in
more
the woods.
people
Like you
on
say,
it?
you've only been to one town.
But
What have you
there's
been
tons of places like outside of the big towns that you can find. Like I found all kinds of big camping locations, cabins, smaller neighborhoods.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you actually did go.
No,
somewhere
There's
where
so
the loot
little
was.
canned food under the trees.
I found canned food at a campsite actually, like in the middle of the
Makes
woods.
sense.
It was really cool. When I say that I have only been to one town, I mean like a large town.
Okay.
Drink up, Joel.
Sip, sip.
All right.
That's
Thank you for your
pretty
thoughts, Dave.
I guess that's all my thoughts.
Do you have more thoughts?
Shut up!
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, I'm good for now, I guess.
Okay. I mean, we'll be talking, like, I feel like we all haven't played it a ton to give, like, really in-depth thoughts. And everyone on the internet's giving their thoughts right now, so why do you care what we think? But,
I do have actually one last thought on the airdrop issue.
Okay.
I think that they are going to get it more balanced over the next, just a couple of weeks. Like, they're going to keep doing player testing and whatnot. I think that H1Z1, I'd be a lot more comfortable with if they had just kept it black and white where there are no ways to find weapons outside of finding them in the world. I'd prefer that, but at least it's not going to stay like it was on launch night.
Right.
So I think it's going to get better to a point where it's almost irrelevant. I just really like it if it was completely irrelevant and they removed it entirely.
No, I completely agree. I wish they would go, hey, crap, we have 1 billion people wanting to buy this game. Screw it. It's $20 now.
Yes.
When we launch it, it's going to be $40 or whatever.
Yes.
Just do that, you know?
If they made a server rule set where they say you can't buy ammos within the airdrops.
It'd be nice if they had, like, maybe on the PvE servers, have the weapons airdropped in. Like, because it doesn't matter. You can't kill each
James
other.
mentioned that. James, he was like, you could do it on that because it doesn't matter.
And on PvP, it's randomized. You can't call it in, and the server decides.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But still, like, there's ways they can make it...
Like, it wouldn't even matter if someone else if it just landed right at your feet, because it's not like they're going to kill you, they're just going to kill zombies. You know?
CSGO has proven that you do not have to have game balance changing items to monetize your game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, CSGO has proven that.
And the cool thing is, like, in CSGO...
Valve, they've done it twice, with TF2 and CSGO.
Yeah,
because they're a trustworthy company.
And the thing is,
okay, it's a good game, too.
So, having a weapon skin in Counter-Strike, that's pretty cool, right? Like, you kind of keep it with you.
I don't think it's like $500 cool like a lot of people do.
Sure. But maybe like there's a skin that like really fits you, like you like OD green, and there's one for like $10. You're like, okay, the game was like only $10, and I'm gonna play this for 1,000 hours. I'm gonna customize my character to be like me, like things I like. That might be worth it. I think that's even more valuable in a game like H1Z1, where your character is with you for a lot longer. You're doing a lot more traveling, and like you want to make yourself look unique. I think just cosmetic stuff would be incredibly popular if that's all there were. They don't need to have the weapons.
I think you can almost do that, and when it comes to like houses and stuff, like if you wanted like, I don't know, specific furniture. Let's say, okay, like even Guild Wars, right? You can either buy in game or you can just use with coins or like you can have your own guild, and then you can like buy stuff for your like home base, which is kind of cool. So that would actually be kind of cool. You could build. So you could have, let's say you have a piece that you build in a cabin. So people are you guys pointing at each other about booze? Like you grab bottle, me drink it.
It does look like that.
That's exactly what it was.
Pretty much that. I was just asking if you wanted a drink.
Oh.
Has anyone actually fired guns in H1Z1 yet? Because I'm curious about the ballistics. Is it hit scan? Do we know yet?
I clicked a gun.
Yeah, I picked up some guns.
They have ballistic drones.
They have ballistics. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's like
probably
Battlefield. Battlefield style, probably.
I'd take that. Like, I honestly,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think DayZ went overboard. Well, they poured it in the ARMA system. That's why it's so complicated. I think DayZ went overboard in their weapon simulation just because most people won't be able to appreciate all the simulation because
you don't appreciate it directly, but you appreciate the way that it affects the gameplay.
Well, the thing is,
sometimes
I love it, but
I feel
if it
like,
causes lag and delay in the
right.
game, just get rid of it. Like,
Well, no,
that's what I mean. Like,
the
you can't
ballistics-
appreciate it if all that stuff together combines to slow the server down.
Right,
so
but it's not
much.
the ballistics that's causing a slow server FPS. The ballistics is one of the lightest calculations the server's doing. Because there's not that many people firing weapons at a given time in the server.
yeah, but still, like, Dave, well, you were talking about something else. It was saying that it was so low on the list. It was ARMA 3. It was like the way that the AI animates, saying like they can't go behind cover because that's the lowest on AI. It's like, well, how about the other things that tells them, hey, let's get in a Jeep and drive away? Like, let's just get rid of that animation because we all want to go into an area and shoot them. Maybe they can get some areas in DayZ and bring those back later. Like things that are causing
really,
them
the
fall.
answer would be
Get the game working
make
right
the
now.
stupid thing multi-core.
Yeah.
Get it working properly on servers, and then this wouldn't be an issue. It's not like they're trying to do too much necessarily. They're trying to do too much for their old broken engine.
DayZ is going to modernize Bohemia's engine, is what's going to happen.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, in DayZ, servers are already 64-bit and multi-threaded. The servers are, not the client yet. And
I don't think the servers are really taking advantage of it, though. It didn't feel like it got that big of a bump when that happened.
Yeah.
it's what took us from 30 players to 50, and it's
It's still the same lag.
40
though.
to 50.
right.
Dude, yeah, you know,
That's not-
H1Z1 has 200 players a server.
They took all those servers down.
Well, but they
But I'm
have
saying
the system that can run.
200
They took it out for
players,
launch.
Dave.
Yeah.
200 players day one, and it was laggy, but it's no more crazy laggy than what DayZ is. So give it a couple weeks. That's 200 players.
We'll give it a couple weeks. No, we don't know because remember when DayZ launched, they were saying like,
it
"Oh yeah,
could
I think it doesn't work. No big deal. It'll be fixed quickly." And some of it was, and some of it a year later has not been. So
we just know it's not being built on the DayZ engine.
I have more confidence in SOE because they have an engine, they have a track record of making a massively multiplayer game that works, and they have the resources. So I have more confidence in SOE. But at the same time, let's not. I mean, they also said the game would release in about 4 weeks. Like how long ago? So. As much as I want to believe that it's coming soon, I don't know. We'll see. But it is now time for the news. News time. That's mail time.
Oh, right. Dang it. You looked over at me like I was supposed to sing or something.
Well, you're supposed to do something.
Ow, cat. Time for the news.
You dumb fat.
John, I was hoping you would fling that cat at just John, like with Jeremiah, just run on his head, just like.
Okay, our first bit of news. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been delayed for the PC. Yay! After being delayed from the console release to January 20-something.
Yeah.
It's now been delayed to what, March 24th or March 27th? I think it's.
Wouldn't you love to just find out, like, the reason why they do it? Like what bugs?
Consoles.
They said extra polish, they said.
No, they focused on the console releases. PC was back burner, I guarantee it.
Yeah. But so now it's releasing.
Back burner. It doesn't sell as well on the PC.
It doesn't. We don't have to argue about it. But it's releasing now, March 24th. To appease people, they released the system specifications, the recommended specs, and this did make people pretty happy because
it looks pretty low.
It is low. The minimum specs, you need Windows 8.1. You need 64-bit Windows.
Sucks.
Well, no, you need Vista 8, 8.1, or 7. But it has to be 64-bit. Oh, okay. Which it's time we made that switch.
Yeah, like most people honestly have that.
Most people do.
That game.
If you're still running XP, that's your fault.
Battlefield 4 in 2013 required 64-bit too. So.
But the minimum CPU is a Q6600 Intel quad core, which is a 2.4 gigahertz quad core. Was my first processor, or an AMD Phenom 9850 quad core. Both of those are pretty old. Those are like 2007 quad cores. 4 gigs of memory, a NVIDIA 9800 GT or AMD 4870. Those are old cards. And then you need 65 gigs of hard drive space. So the minimum hard drive space is still pretty nasty. The recommended specs, though, actually, the recommended specs aren't even that bad. They recommend you have Windows 7 or Windows 8 or 8.1.
If I just uninstall ARMA 3, 180 gigs of mods, I'll have more than enough space.
They recommend an Intel Core i5 3470 or AMD FX 8350. So, pretty modern, several-year-old quad or octo cores. They recommend a 8 gigs of memory, a GTX 660 or AMD 7870, and the same 65 gigabytes of hard drive space. So, even the recommended specs, the potato masher almost meets the recommended specs, and it exceeds the minimum ones.
Do you think that's for 1080p?
It probably is, yeah. I'm sure it is. I mean, because the game it
what
runs.
What was that specs we were looking at the other day? You're like, hey, you're gonna like this, Joel. Like they started putting. Is it Steam that's gonna start putting specs?
It just depends on the publisher.
Oh, okay. But they're starting.
In general,
they actually started pushing that.
The general guideline is for low minimum settings, expect 720p and 30 FPS to be the target. For high, expect 1080p, 60 FPS.
See, I always thought low just meant still 1080p, but just low.
Not at all. No, absolutely not. No.
Well, and they're a general guideline because the minimum specs, they're all over the map. Like the two processors they list from AMD and Intel, they're totally different. Like they have totally different amounts of performance for different things. The video cards have totally different performance. They just have to list something from AMD and something from Intel. They're saying you can play the game if you have at least one of these. But you could even have stuff slower than that and you could still play the game. Like you could probably still squeak by. But it runs so well on the PS4 and the Xbox One, it should be very easy to run it on a modern PC. It won't be a big deal, I don't think. Next bit of news. Dave, you almost made me buy a monitor this week.
Again, almost 2 for 2. And that's where
do you want to tell people about this monitor? It's pretty sweet.
I liked it that everyone I sent it to immediately drooled over it. I got the exact reaction I was hoping.
Well, you convinced me to buy that 4K monitor about like a month and a half ago. I'm very happy with it. But you bought a...
I now regret it because you won't shut up about it.
I just tease you. You're the only one.
That's true.
But now you bought your 1440p monitor, and it's got a pretty good pixel density, right?
Yeah.
Like you're pretty happy. I mean, it's noticeably more dense than a 1080p display. Yes. Even at 27 inches, it's pretty good.
Because the screen's not insanely massive, that resolution looks really nice because, the pixel density. It's not like Retina, but it like kind of feels like half.
Yeah.
like half that kind of density.
So a lot of people's complaint with 4K is you need to scale your desktop up a lot for it to be usable. I had to upgrade to Windows 8.1 just so I could scale my 4K monitor properly. Like it's in some programs still don't.
Before it was like everything like a dot.
Well, no, on Windows 7 I could scale it up so the 4K monitor looked great, but then my other monitors were matte. Like everything on the type was like this big. They were unusable. So it works a lot better on Windows 8.1. But some people are like, well, I don't want a smaller monitor that's 4K. Just give me decent pixel density and make the monitor big so I like can fit everything on there.
Yeah.
So Phillips has made a 4K 40-inch. It's not an IPS, but it's basically
No, it is IPS.
It's
It's just like another manufacturer's name for IPS.
Is it 60 hertz?
It's a 60 hertz
Dang.
4K 40-inch panel, $850.
Dang.
That's the starting price though. Like it only goes down from there.
Yeah, $850, and so at 40 inches 4K, that's about the same pixel density as a 27-inch 1440p monitor, isn't it?
And if you want a good 1440p, like from Dell, it's still going to be almost $600 for a 1440p.
Which those need to drop in, like those are making less and less sense to have. these days.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, so for not that much more money, you can upgrade to. I mean, think a 40-inch computer monitor. That's crazy. That's awesome. If those become more of a thing and they start dropping in price, like I might be on the blind for one of those in another year or two. You know, when they hit, you know, if you think about it, 4K monitors came out a year and a half ago, they were like $3,000, and then they started dropping. Then one of them hit $1,000, one of them hit less than that. If this is starting at $850, within a year we could have $500 40-inch 4K monitors.
I think honestly, I think the most I'm excited about 4K monitors is like, I don't know, movies. I'm excited to see Lawrence of Arabia in 4K.
I'd love to watch something in 4K on mine. I can't.
I'm talking about
nothing to
TVs,
watch.
not
Okay,
computer.
okay.
I'm not too jump. I am tempted at some point, maybe down the road, to get the sequel to the iMac 5K thing.
Yeah.
Wait, this one I think is gonna be a little bit slow, but I think the
really
next
slow.
version. The next version I think is gonna be
the
specs will be
graphics
a lot
card's
higher.
like a 7870 or something, and they're like, you can game at 5K. No, you can't.
I'm like, maybe you could do. You probably can't even do Minecraft. I can't even do Minecraft at full on 1440p.
Yeah.
But that game is coded like crap.
Yeah.
But either way,
It's Java. It's
The
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
about
it's-
thing about 4K though, like our infrastructure in America for the internet has got to improve. If we've got 500 gig caps, where it can barely stream 1080p on Netflix right now, and if you watch Netflix all month, like you're about to hit your cap, what is 4K gonna do?
well,
Yeah.
I don't think that needs to upgrade. I was actually
Oh, it
reading,
does.
no,
It definitely does.
I was reading an article because you know the new 4K standard's coming out soon.
H265.
It's called it's like the Blu-ray is gonna be called Ultra HD Blu-ray. That's what it's called. I think they should just call it Blu-ray.
Just
4K.
keep it called Blu-ray. Yeah, like
It should just
Blu-ray,
be Blu-ray
4K or something.
I think that would have been.
Make it easy for old
whatever.
people.
But the company that's working on the codec that worked on the codec, they're working on this insanely high resolution codec that's just streaming only. That's very, very small file size, but the quality's like absolutely insane. But they haven't licensed yet to anyone to use it yet. But they're apparently people have seen it. They're like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" It's
Right.
like our infrastructure right now. You could stream insanely good 4K stuff on it without having to have like 50 gigs.
Sweet.
So I hope that happens. I think that's going to have to happen, rather than just infrastructure.
A lot of
Because
things have to happen.
If it stays at the speed it's going right now, it's like we have like 12,000 terabytes.
What
download
needs to
a movie in a
happen
couple
is
of years.
competition. In most areas, look at any area where Google Fiber has moved in. Every other ISP has stepped their game up, like doubled speeds, increased infrastructure. Like when someone else is there, when Comcast knows you can't go anywhere else, Comcast is not motivated to fix your issues.
I've heard of people in Google Fiber areas getting offers from their cable ISPs for like 200 megabit down for like $40. Like as soon as fiber like is available.
Dang.
Like hey, by the way, you know you've been a long term customer. We like you as a customer a lot. Don't forget about us. Look at our new deals.
You just sell that. You need to be the guy who'll be like, "Hey, you remember us? $50, $50. Oh, okay, $40. And $30, please. God, help us."
It's actually a scroll to like scroll like flyer.
Well, I've seen the benefit of that. I don't live in an area near Google Fiber, but I have Cox Communications and Verizon Fios, so fiber optic. And when I switched to Fios, I used it for a couple months. I was like, this isn't bad, but it was kind of expensive, so I called them up to like lower some of the stuff down because I didn't need it. And I could tell they were feeling a little desperate on the phone, like, wait, he doesn't sound happy. he can go somewhere else. Like, my apartment's pre-wired for both. It's an easy switch. So they kept giving me stacking loyalty discounts. Now it's $20 cheaper per month for me to have internet and 150 channels of HD. That's $20 cheaper than just having the same internet. Because of all the loyalty discounts after having their internet for 3 months.
I have a quick funny story to talk about AT&T that's a little bit... It's like that, but opposite, right? Okay, so I went in there. I was trying to see some offers because I think another one, my friend, switched over to, I think, Sprint or something like that, and they had a deal that they would kind of buy you out, and a similar deal. Well, so I went to AT&T going, like, I'm curious, how easy is it for me to just get off the account? If they'd be like, hey, well, we want to keep you, maybe they'll give you some deals. I wasn't trying to game the system because I was honestly wanting to get out, too, like, at the time. Well, I started going through it, and it was great because the lady was super nice, but it was like they weren't like, oh, we want to keep you. They were so happy to get rid of me.
Because you use so much data, they're like, oh, he uses 30 gigs a month. Yeah,
it was just funny, though, because it was just like, do you guys want me? Like, I mean, I don't have to leave. Do you guys ever watch New Girl?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the recent episodes?
No.
You see the one, I think Jess is like, okay, see you guys, or something like that. She's like closing the door. You guys still don't want me at your party? Okay. And it's like, I'm actually leaving. I'm leaving. Oh, man. Like, she's like hoping they all go, oh, no, come back. I felt like it was that scenario. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay. Like, dang you all.
You called my bluff.
Yeah, I know. I was like, dang. Fold.
All right, next bit of news.
So, 2 twos.
Do you remember when Microsoft dropped the price of Xbox One temporarily over the holidays to $350? Well, it outsold the PS4, and a lot of people, us included, were saying, yeah, that's going to be a permanent price drop. Like, once they get the taste of hardware sales, they're not going to give it up. Well, they did give it up, and they went back to $400 for 2 whole weeks. The Xbox One is back to $350.
If you buy it during those 2 weeks, don't you feel like,
whoa, people are not buying this thing.
And it's like, oh, wait, they only want it because it's cheap.
Yeah, if you bought it during the 2 weeks, I hope you probably feel really dumb.
Yeah, the official price is back to $350, and to sweeten the deal on Sony's side, they're now offering The Last of Us as a bundle with, it's probably a download code, but bundled in with every PlayStation 4. So it's still $400. They haven't dropped the price yet, but they've effectively added...
They shouldn't drop... If I was them...
They don't need to. They're still selling it.
Don't drop the price, because I think the one bad thing that Xbox... I mean, it's a good thing that they dropped it, because I think $500 is a ridiculous...
Well, no one was buying it, so...
Yeah, that was a bad price. But, like... Yeah, Sony, as soon as they drop it, people are going to be like, oh, well, if it goes back up, I'll just wait till it goes back to $350 or whatever it is. That's a good solid. $400 is a solid price for that machine.
It was a good price when they picked it, and they're smart to stick to it.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't drop it until they're ready to do, like, the $300 console that comes with a terabyte hard drive. You know, they're, like, really ups the stuff, so... All right, last bit of news. MSI has a new gaming laptop. We love talking about high-powered graphics cards and things on here. Joel's favorite. The MSI... Now, and the great thing about all gaming PCs is the clever names they give them to make them memorable. The MSI GT72 2QE.
What the crap?
I'm not done.
Start over again.
The MSI GT72 2QE Dominator. I'm not done. Pro.
No freaking way. Fired. That's fired.
Pro domination.
It is an over.
My job is to dominate.
It's like the job.
Well, the specs do dominate, and if you're a pro, something. I don't know what type of pro wants this, but if you're a pro, something. Okay, so it has a 17-inch screen. It weighs more than 8 pounds. So you're already at like 3 Ultrabooks.
That doesn't faze me at all, because my last full-size laptop weighed 12 pounds. So
well, good for you. But most people don't want that.
No one wants that.
It has an i7 4710 processor, 2.5 base clock, jumps to 3.5 gigahertz, and it is hyper-threaded. So it's a 4 gigahertz and hyper-threaded mobile processor. It has a GTX 9...
Hyper-threaded.
It does dominate.
Well, I mean, if you want to do...
I feel so dominated right now.
Okay. If you want to do actual work with it, Joel, that does make a difference. So, it has a GeForce GTX 980M. The GPU is the same one that powers the desktop GTX 980. But in mobile version, some of the resources are trimmed down. It has 8 gigs of graphics memory. Which is stupid, because no 1080p game... like. There's just not enough pixels at 1080p to use.
External monitors, though.
Yes.
But can't they utilize that in a different way? Because doesn't the PS4 have it's got like shared, you know?
That's unified memory. It uses an APU. It's a totally different architecture.
Stand corrected?
I wasn't trying to
Back it
correct
off! Back it
you.
off!
You asked, is it
No,
like
I was
this?
backing
I
off
said
in a
no.
very friendly manner, like,
Okay.
oh, back it off!
All right.
I didn't do that very well.
All right. Anyway,
Backing off for now.
it can be configured up to 32 gigs of memory, of system memory. You can... Okay, now storage is where it gets interesting. Now, you're familiar with RAID, right, Joel?
Like RAID.
Like running 2 disks in
Yeah,
RAID?
yeah, okay.
All right. Well, these disks run in Super RAID 3.
Super RAID Pro 3?
There are as many as 4 SSDs can be put into this
Oh
laptop.
my gosh.
And configured into an array. So the test model that PC Gamer got had 4 250 gigabyte SSDs.
Dave's just rubbing his hands together.
It's in a 1 terabyte striped array, which gives you 1 gigabyte per second read and write speeds in a laptop. In case you're wondering, what do I need this for? Nothing right now.
Well, no, Joel.
I'm copied over my Steam files so fast.
Joel,
I can
with
verify a game a second.
Joel, with 1 gig of transfer per second, you can install our ARMA 3 mod pack in only 10 minutes.
You still have to wait while it unzips everything.
20 minutes.
So Joel, it has 4 internal SSDs. Can you make that zipping noise again? Alright, it has 4...
Thank you, Jesse.
It has 4 internal
zipping
SSDs.
replace.
It also has an internal 1 terabyte mechanical storage drive. So 5 internal drives on a laptop.
How big is this laptop?
17-inch, over 8 pounds.
Oh my, a 17-inch? Jeez.
It has a 230 watt AC adapter.
Joel, are you gonna drink that? Be honest.
Debbie wants to drink, and she doesn't want you to waste
I don't want to
it.
get up.
No, I'm gonna drink. I'm drinking it.
No, you're not.
Joel,
You sipped it for over an hour.
be a man for once.
Okay. John says he's a man all the time. We got to go through the rest of the features. Okay, it has a Blu-ray writer, 2.1 channel speakers. The 0.1 means there's a subwoofer somewhere in this thing. Up to 7.1 channel output if you use the optical out. Blah, blah, blah. It has a wireless AC internet. It has a SteelSeries keyboard. I think it's a mechanical. No, this one does have chiclet keys. Although there was a recent gaming laptop. I forget who made it. Maybe it was MSI, but it has a mechanical keyboard.
That keyboard inside is deep, though. Like that.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That laptop is like the size of a hardcover book. Thick.
It'd be awesome if you have a laptop. You reach your fingers down into it and then go really far. You're like, what the?
But it has 2 mini DisplayPort outputs: HDMI, AC power.
Quick sand.
4 USB 3 ports, 2 more on the other side, so actually 6 USB 3 ports. That's more than my desktop.
That's pretty good, actually. That's
so
a useful
anyway,
thing for a laptop. A lot of
Joel,
good USB ports.
All of that, how much do you think that costs?
Man, it could go either way, but I'm gonna guess 2,000.
Potato masher price $350.
It's over $3,000.
Holy crap!
Now, here's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned the potato masher because you don't.
I mentioned it. Don't look at Joel.
You don't get as much for your money with a laptop as you do with a desktop, right? Well, on Metro Last Light, on very high settings, PC Gamer reported an average frame rate of 64 FPS.
On what?
On Metro Last Light,
Yeah.
on very high settings at 1080p. Average 64 FPS, which is good.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm currently testing Metro 2033 and Last Light for the potato masher. The average frame rate on the potato masher was somewhere in the 70s. So
Why would you want to buy that freaking laptop?
I don't know. Well, 'cause that's the thing is they have a lot of impressive
And
specs.
if that laptop was like if that was like in the slim size of a MacBook Air,
Right.
like, dang, that's awesome.
Well, if they,
that's a lot of power.
If
in
they
time.
drove, like the thing is, they've got a lot of specs that don't help them that cost money. 8 gigs of graphics memory are totally unnecessary. They could go down to 3 or 4 and they'd be fine.
But we got
32
a
gigs of
deal with it.
memory,
Stole it
if you
from, like,
want it,
somebody.
you want it, fine. But they could easily go down to 16. I mean, you can get it with 16. The 4 SSDs striped, I don't know why you need that type of performance in a laptop. Like, I don't know who this thing is marketed to. But if you want it, you can get it for a little over $3,000. You can buy it from places like exoticpc.com.
Ooh.
Which,
If
that
you
sounds
ever
dumb,
bought
but-
one of those and not a PS4, I would hit you.
How angry would you be? Like,
I would be very angry. Like,
Well, Dave, if you bought
oh
one
my
of those
gosh,
instead
your
of
PS4's
like
$400 and you buy a $3,000.
Dave, if you bought one of those instead of like a newer
newer.
car, I'd be upset. I mean, that's car money.
Yeah.
that's Dave car money at least.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have a couple like about 10-year-old Japanese cars. You can get probably an 8-year-old Japanese car for $3,000. Why wouldn't you?
Or an 8-pound laptop.
Or a couple suppressors.
Now you're talking.
What the heck is that? They would just show me some gif of some guy swimming across the screen. I can't tell if it's DayZ or ARMA or something.
I want it to be DayZ. I know.
I think it's DayZ,
but
actually.
Is it
How the
really?
crap is someone swimming across?
It's ARMA.
Oh, ARMA.
It's in Shinaris, though, yeah. Thank you, Debbie, for participating in the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, it is now time for mail time.
Mail time!
You can write into the podcast at casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like Justin did, and his the subject of his email is
Something on
mail
Blue's
time, quotes Joel's singing voice. He says, "Ahoy hoy podcasters, I have a question regarding monitors. I currently have the stock standard. This one will do 24-inch Asus monitor, and while it works fine, it does the job and look good. I'm running an R9 290X, 12 gigabit SSD, I'm thinking it's 120 gigabyte SSD, and an i7 3770K. I'm not really getting my money's worth from it, seeing as I only get 60 FPS with my current monitor, and an R9 290X is well capable of doing over that. He's looking to upgrade. It's unlikely I'd be interested in 4K gaming at this stage, and I don't use 3D, so those two features aren't important. Other than that, I guess I'm asking you to sell me a monitor. My price range is mid to higher end, so I guess up to $800 Australian, which means about a disappointing $650 US.
That's a good range.
He
for a
wants to
monitor.
change to 120 hertz, but he's curious, is it worth going up to 144 hertz? The way he sees it is 4K is on its way to us, but it's not viable as a cheapish option in the near future, so something new is needed in the meantime. Thanks from Australia, where yes, I literally do drive right past kangaroos pretty much every day, and there's the odd koala in the trees around where I live. Luckily, I haven't had any drop bear problems lately, though. So until that day, is that when they drop out of trees on you?
Is that
You
a
haven't heard of
problem?
drop bears?
No.
No.
You wait. You guys don't.
I don't want to live on this world
You
anymore.
guys don't know about drop
Can you
bears.
tell us more about
Is it
drop bears?
just what it sounds like, where bears drop on you out of things?
Because that
it's-
sounds adorable.
No, it's
Koalas.
It's
Oh, yeah,
where
the
vicious.
claws
Oh
and
gosh, what is it?
talons.
It's where honey badger like bears drop out of trees on you and maul you. Drop bears.
Really?
I
Well,
don't want to live
but-
anymore.
He hasn't had any drop bear problems.
But drop bears are also a completely made up animal that Australians use to troll people on the internet.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yours truly, Justin.
So it's not a real thing.
Oh,
No, it's
until that
drop
day
bears are not
comes.
real.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, I know honey badgers are real and they're kind of crazy, so maybe they could be.
Until the day comes where I'm passed on and
That'd be
devoured alive,
terrible.
I shall continue enjoying your gaming podcast. Okay,
Full-size grizzly bears. Ah! Sorry, I'm still on that.
jumping out of trees in Australia.
Could you imagine, like, just straight
No,
up
Joe, I can't imagine, because that sounds like hell.
body slamming you?
Imagine grizzly bears with wings.
That's awesome. That's going into my board game.
Says someone who
Bears
stays
with
indoors a
wings.
lot. Bears with wings.
I'm putting that in my
Instead of the
game.
nebula or instead of the dragon?
Yeah, but like
Bears
you
with
just
dragon
finally
wings.
you just finally made it out of the nebula. Whoops! A bear with wings drags you back.
In space. Bears with wings in space.
A bear with a unicorn horn. A unicorn bear.
Unibear.
No, the flying bear.
A pega-bear.
Did John go to sleep?
I think so.
Cool. Alright, so he wants us to sell him a monitor. He wants at least 120 hertz. So, Dave, what are your initial thoughts?
So the 120 versus 144, I mean, I'm still stuck at 60 like a peasant. But it depends on the games you play. There's certain games, like if all you do is CSGO, sure, go for the 144. You will see a difference.
Right.
But if you're playing like Tomb Raider and, ports like GTA 5, I don't think you really need 144, or maybe even not even 120 hertz. And a problem's going to be driving that frame rate too. I think it's going to be more difficult to drive 144 hertz than 4K.
Yeah, and then, but fortunately, even if you're at 100, like you can set 144 hertz, you can run it at 120 and stuff.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
now, so here, Justin, here's where you have to make a decision. If you want a large size, if you want high density, like you have to decide where your priorities are at. I have 4 possible monitors picked out. I'm going to run you through them real quick, and you can decide what you think is the best. And Debbie, remind me to email all these to myself afterwards so I can include them in a link. Justin, I'll reply to your email. That's what I'll do. Okay, so first we have an Asus. It's a 24-inch LED monitor, 144 hertz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time. It is 3D capable. But yeah, it's a 24-inch 1080p, 144 hertz monitor. It's $265.
Do you guys remember when 3D was a thing?
Yeah. Now,
I remember that 2-month
It'll
period.
be back in 2016 when Avatar 2 comes out.
now, Justin, if you want a larger monitor, BenQ makes a really nice LED gaming monitor. It's also 1080p, 144 hertz. It's $450 and it's 27 inches. Now, personally, I think 1080p at 27 inches is a little bit too low pixel density for it to look good. So I wouldn't personally do that. Now, if you want 144 hertz, 1440p, 27 inches. First of all, your R9 290X is not fast enough to run most games at 144 hertz, 1440p. But that monitor exists, and it's called the Asus ROG Swift, and you can't afford it because it's $900 US. But it's 27 inches, 1440p. It has G-Sync. Well, I'm running.
Here's another option you can't afford.
That's the first one you can't afford. It's 27 inches, 1440p, 144 hertz, G-Sync. So it's a really nice monitor. The nice thing about this is...
Isn't the G-Sync help make it look a lot better even at 30
exactly.
FPS?
It's G-Sync, if you don't know, it syncs... Well, G-Sync doesn't matter for him because he has an AMD card. But G-Sync, it syncs... Well, there's a... AMD does free
Basically,
sync.
whoever this dude is, you suck.
No.
You have the crappiest thing.
I have an R9 290. My rig is slower than his. And I'm happy. But FreeSync is AMD's standard, and it works the same way. But like say your game can only manage 40 FPS, well, it sets the monitor's refresh rate to 40 FPS. So it's going to feel like that smooth 30 FPS locked or 60 FPS locked feeling, even if you're running at slower speeds.
I always wanted to see what actually 40 FPS looks like without the V-Sync. Like
people say G-Sync is game changing, is what most people describe it as.
because it's like, yeah, if it can only run at like 41 or whatever, I'll take 41 locked, whatever that is.
Right. Now, so that's $900. Now here's my last option is that we do those of us on the podcast here, we do a lot of graphics and video and web work. So good colors are really important to us. So we actually prioritize refresh rates lower than other things. We have IPS monitors for the most part, in-plane switching, which they can't go any faster than about 60 hertz because of the technology. Some QNX, I think, makes an overclockable one that can hit like 96 hertz. But for $435, Asus makes a 1440p 27-inch monitor that's IPS. And IPS basically just means the colors, it's going to look gorgeous. Even though the resolution isn't any higher than the others, it's going to look amazing. But you are going to be stuck at 60 hertz. So if you want a really fast refresh rate, keep in mind that your 290X is not going to be able to run most games on like ultra settings at 144 hertz. That's super fast. So if you're playing like CSGO or something, yeah, you're probably fine. But if you want to play like, you're not going to be playing Assassin's Creed Unity at 144 hertz. Like, it's just not going to happen. So
20 years from now, people won't be playing Unity.
So Justin, if you want
anything more
I'm
than
going to
30.
send these consoles to you. Or I'm going to send these monitors to you. I'm going to send these monitors to you. If you can let us know what games you really want to play, I can narrow this list down a little bit for you.
Tell you how you won't be playing.
All right. But yeah, anyway, Justin, I'll send you those monitors and write back to me if you need more help. All right. Brett wrote in and said, hey guys, big fan
Brett
of the
or
podcast.
Brett?
Brett.
Okay, it sounded like you said Breck. I was like, that's a weird name.
Hey guys, big fan of the podcast. Love listening to it while I push carts at work, even though my manager keeps bitching at me for it. And I'm the long drives back to school. Glad we can help you get in trouble at work. I never played PC games until I heard about some ARMA mod called DayZ and started researching it. Several Evil Viking 13 videos later, I was buying the game myself. Since then, I've become...
You and me, Bohemia, like 25 cents maybe. Anything?
Since then, I've become much more of a PC gamer, even though I still play my evil consoles a good amount. Really, it's like they have joint custody over me. 1 week with Mama PS4 and her 1 week with Mama PS4 and her new boyfriend Joel, and the next week with Daddy PC and angry Uncle Jeremiah.
That's amazing. Angry big Uncle Jeremiah.
Why is that relevant?
Right now, I'm playing my Alienware 14 laptop, as it's the best solution for a gaming computer since I'm a very mobile college student. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, an Intel Core i7-4700MQ, 1 terabyte hard drive, and a GeForce GT750M.
Oh, specs.
Joel,
Sorry,
all
I
you
said
know,
it out loud.
yes, it can run on the lowest settings at 30 FPS. I know that's all you care about. Alright, it gets pretty good performance for a laptop, but I'd like to grow as a PC gamer and build my own PC. At this point of the email, David and Jeremiah are salivating at their keyboards. What's the best possible build I can get for $700? I would need literally everything outside a copy of Windows. I'd be playing anything and everything on it, so load me up. However, I wouldn't be building this all at once. I'd probably be buying these parts over the course of the next 5 to 6 months. Thanks for taking the time to read my email. Please enjoy this video of seals slapping each other. And he sent a video of seals just slapping each other on the beach.
That's awesome.
Okay, Brett. So you say you need everything. So you need a monitor, you need a mouse and keyboard, you need speakers or a headset. Like you need the whole.
Well, he
package.
uses TV with an HDMI cable for the PC.
Well, I've got a $698 build. I'm gonna pitch to Brett.
Jeremiah's like, whoa, wait, no.
And as usual, Brett, right back in, if you can go like, oh, wait, I can use this, I can do this different, I can do this different. Like, if you hear this list and go, oh, well, I don't need that, let us know, and we will get you the most performance for your money. It also helps that you have 6 months to buy parts, so you can get really good deals, and you can get better stuff from this. So this is a $700 build, but I expect that you can
get
do better
a
than
really
this.
good computer for $700.
Well, basically, it's a potato masher, all new parts, a few of them slightly better. Except I'm now realizing I didn't include a hard drive.
It's got to be way better than the potato masher.
The potato masher is really good. But no,
but
way better. It has to include a monitor, and it has to include mouse and keyboard and a headset.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's a couple
Yeah,
$100
that's
of
true.
extra
That's true.
stuff.
So it is, I guess it's not going to be.
Yeah.
It's just the base piece.
I forgot to include a hard drive, so I'm going to have to hit this again. But
you like click. Oh.
but I know this is doable in this budget. I put in an Intel G3258 3.2 gigahertz dual core. You might recognize this processor. Listen to this as a podcast. For the several hundred comments on Reddit telling me that all our choices for the potato masher were wrong and we should use this processor. For $66, it is like the best bang for your buck for gaming. It's a dual core 3.2 gigahertz processor that can overclock to like 4.5 gigahertz. It includes a Hyper 212 air cooler.
Now, I'm going to pause you for a second. So you're recommending a dual core?
Well, I'm going to get to that. Let me get through it, and then
Okay.
I'm circle back. These are all brand new parts.
Fight.
No, there's no fight. There's no fight. Dave's
I want
not.
to see one. It's fine. I'm glad I didn't
What
look
are
back
you
at
going
the
to do? Close
classic
and
Twill
leave?
days.
What do you want to happen?
Horrible. Like,
Joel's in the
I mean, all my friends to fight in the gladiator ring.
Joel's in the stands. More blood. Appease me.
Wait, isn't that like one of your family members? Oh, kill him last. All right.
Make it fast.
It has an Asus Micro ATX motherboard. Nothing special. You should be able to get decent overclock out of it.
Yep.
8 gigabytes of crucial memory. A GTX 660 graphics card. A Cooler Master mid-tower case. A Corsair 600 watt power supply. An Asus DVD burner. A 22-inch Acer IPS 1080p display.
That's not bad.
A Cooler Master Devastator gaming keyboard with mouse. And a Logitech G430 gaming headset. Okay, so that comes up to $700. You'll notice there's no hard drive
It's
in
more
there.
the way you look at me when you say that. Seduction.
No one calls their gaming part seduction.
No, the way you say it like you're trying to seduce me with your words.
Joel, I don't seduce you with my words. I don't need words. So anyway, not Justin, hold on, Brett, sorry. When I send you this, I'm going to email you back with a link to this build. I'm going to change a few parts so I can include a hard drive. But what I want to say is, since you can buy this over the course of a couple months, I would recommend considering a used part or two. If you buy anything used, buy the graphics card used, because you can probably get an R9 7950 or a GTX 670, a card that's really only a year or two old, used from a place you can even get it with a warranty, and you will save the most money there.
Yeah.
I just totally realized something. R9's, what was the name of it? What's the name of the video card?
Well, the one in here is a GTX 660.
No, which one you just said? R9 70 something.
And the HD 7950.
No, it was an R something.
R9 290?
The R stands for Radeon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just figured it out.
Thanks for the show.
Why is the R in there? I'm like, why the heck? Because I don't know. I would say like a Radeon R9 something like that. I'm like, wait, that stands for Radeon.
Okay, so Dave, here's my thing with dual core. If he's okay buying used, I would say no, don't get a dual core. Get something like we did. Get an i5 750. If he wants to buy this all new, that's totally understandable. The best option in his price range is a 750. Or, no, sorry, is a G3 3258. Each core is faster than our i5 750 for gaming, and you can overclock it quite a long ways. Now, there is the chance in the next couple of years, more cores are going to be needed for gaming. So, Brett, what you want to consider, if you have 5 or 6 months, maybe save up a little more money and bump up to like an FX 6300. It's a 6-core AMD processor. They also just released the FX 8150, which is an 8-core, $120 processor. You'll need to overclock it to get really awesome gaming performance in like DayZ or ARMA 3 if you want to play those. But since most gaming is not really limited by the CPU, that would be a good way to future-proof yourself. And if you wanted to do that, we would just need to be a little more careful about a couple other parts. So Brett, I expect you to write us back when you can let us know like more of what you plan on buying and stuff, and we'll help you narrow it down a little more. Also, if you wait for deals, you can get that case for cheaper. You don't have to spend $65 on a power supply. Like, we can get all this for cheaper.
Actually, I want to revisit the dual core versus quad core thing.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I definitely have reservations about recommending a dual core, especially 6 months from now. We've already had a case with Far Cry 4 where dual cores would not launch the game.
Right.
Now, that was more of probably a coding limitation where they had multi-threaded something, and just for compatibility, they just locked it to quad cores and higher just so they can avoid trying to support dual cores. There's actually a patch you can get from like one of the pirating groups that fixes that. It doesn't run well on a dual core, but it'll run. But officially, Far Cry 4 will not run on a dual core. And I think we're going to see more of that.
Unofficially, it won't run well on most things. No, but
just Joel, actually.
But but you're right. I think we're probably going to see that more in the future. So, Brett, I'm recommending this now because for your budget, it's the most balanced way to do it. But if you can stretch your budget at all, if you're okay buying used, you can get pretty decent quad cores used for that money. Or if you can push your budget just a little bit, you can get... Well, I mean, I say push it a little bit. We could save some money in a few other areas, possibly. And you could get like an FX 6300 hexacore or something. Like,
yes.
we can make something work. So write us back. Let us know what you need. And then... last bit of mail is from Ben. Ben, who played DayZ with us the other night. Hey guys, 2 things this week. First, I wanted to say thanks for the build advice. We gave him build advice on a computer like a month or 2 ago. The computer turned out awesome. I've been playing tons of games like Crysis 3, Far Cry 4, ARMA 3, Watch Dogs, Skyrim with like 250 mods.
Yeah.
And a bunch of others already at Ultra 60 FPS. He's been downscaling from 2704 by 1521 to 1080p. He says, I know that's an odd starting resolution, but it's working great. So, hey, more power to you. I'm guessing he's using like NVIDIA Dynamic Super Resolution or AMD Virtual Super Resolution.
I bet Skyrim would look really, really nice with that.
Dude, I bet. I just wanted to say I'd highly recommend this build to anyone. I don't remember what build we recommended for you, Ben, so...
we're glad that you paid money and it works.
Yeah, we're glad it works.
When was the last time we did recommend a specific build?
Pretty much like every single week. I just did it like 5 minutes ago.
I know that.
Twice.
Well, yeah, I guess. No, I really do phase out during this. Okay, that makes
Joel, just finish it. Just get it
I
over
got
with.
a little tiny drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a drop.
No, it's good. It's not that. I'm not afraid of it or nothing. I'm like, oh gosh, just a little bit more.
I can get you
All
more.
right,
Full.
anyway.
I'm just full. I ate an entire thing of
Okay. Ben has his real questions. You guys argue like with text messages or something quiet. Note, I realize this isn't exactly PC gaming related. If you just want to email me back, that's fine. We're going to talk about it on here. This is kind of directed to all of you who run a YouTube channel. I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I was hoping to get advice.
This is for Joel, basically.
I don't want to go too in-depth, but the most comparable thing to what my content will be is movie reviews. It's not movie reviews, but that's the easiest comparison I'm willing to get. So he's not doing movie reviews. He's doing reviews of something like movies, like that style of review. I'm most likely going to be editing with Premiere, what I've experienced with, and probably recording the audio with Audacity. I'm currently making some videos, and I hope to launch the channel in a month, and I'd like to have a few videos to start with and kind of have a style nailed down. I already have the YouTube channel, Twitter handle, Instagram, Pinterest, and a domain for the channel. I also have a sister who's a graphic designer, so she's helping me with some of the channel website art and logos. I have a family that run decently successful blogs, so I'm getting some advice from them, but I'm hoping to get more specific advice for YouTube channels. So here's some of the questions I have. 1. Can you see any foreseeable problems with the 2 programs I listed for recording and editing? Any specific suggestions? I think we pretty easily say Premiere's fine. I mean, Premiere, like, pros use it to edit movies. If you're comfortable using Premiere, you're totally fine.
Yeah.
And Audacity for audio recording is also totally fine. I've actually, up until very recently, I've been doing most of the podcast audio editing in Audacity. Joel's just texting profanity to Debbie. Whatever. Okay. So Dave, here's the next question. What is the best way to reach my target audience? I know things like Reddit view self-promotion as a big negative. I want to figure out how to get my channel out there to the largest audience possible.
If you have an established Reddit account and you contribute to certain communities, maybe post some of your videos there, but that's not something that you want to do very regularly. Maybe if you have a Keystone video. But yeah, in general, don't expect anything that you post on Reddit to do well at all. Be surprised if it does, but don't ever expect it.
Reddit's not a dumping...
Keystone video? What are you talking
about? Like the potato masher. Like, that was a video... That was like the cornerstone of the last couple months.
For a second, I thought you guys were talking about the term, like, turnkey.
Oh, okay, no.
So I was like, Keystone video. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, like if Jeremiah... Like,
turnkey video solutions.
That video is definitely kind of like when I put
a milestone
joystick versus keyboard. See all the hatred. I was like, yes, let's feed on it.
Yeah, if Jeremiah was posting like every Tropico video to Reddit, that would not go over well.
There are people who do it in the Tropico subreddit. It's clogged. People going, look, I'm starting the campaign. Watch me play through the campaign. It's like, no.
I can do that.
I mean, the thing that only has 2 outcomes, do it exactly like this or fail.
Dude, our Facebook, Twitter generation, man, people like, because someone enjoyed watching someone, that means everyone will enjoy me too.
Yeah, the thing with Reddit is like, if you can provide a value, even if the value is just 5 seconds of that someone will laugh at, Reddit will like it for the most part. If you just want people to watch your content because you want them to like it and it's not something they're instantly going to enjoy, Reddit will hate it and Reddit will crap on you really hard. The best way to reach your target audience, Dave, I guess, I don't know if you would agree with me, we've both been doing our channels for like three plus years now. Be good for a long time consistently. And we have both broken that rule a couple times. But, you know,
and network.
Yeah, network. But don't take it too seriously. Like, try to be as good as possible, as long as possible. And it's going to take a long time and persistence. But, I mean, some video series each of us made just because they were fun and we wanted to do it. And we wanted to share it with the 5 people who thought it was interesting. Neither of us are looking at this like, this is my retirement right here.
YouTube.
After I get famous. Like, neither of us moved to LA, if you understand, the
So question, when will you end this?
Well, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, and that's actually the advice I'm about to give, Joel, is my best advice for doing YouTube is only post content that you're proud of and that you actually enjoy creating, and as soon as you stop enjoying the creation process, stop posting stuff.
Yeah.
Because people are going to see it in your work. If you stop enjoying it and you're just cranking crap out just because you're getting 1,000 views or something like that, people are going to know.
Yeah. And if you're posting something that you're proud of and you enjoy it and not a lot of other people do, that's also fine. Like, if this has to be a big success, then no, that's not the smart way to do it. But if your goal is to be a giant success, then we're not probably the right people to ask, because both Dave and I have passed on many marvelous opportunities to click...
Hey, I don't know about you guys' YouTube channels, but mine's doing just fine.
But both me and Dave have passed on a lot of marvelous opportunities
10 cents a year.
Be cheap and get a little farther ahead than we are now, and we've passed on it.
I was successful with the first part of that, being cheap.
But we've passed on it because we're not, like, we don't really make any significant amount of money off of it, and it's mostly for fun. It's a hobby. It's something we'd be playing the games anyway. Like, it's something we enjoy. And when, like when I go through busy periods of life and I don't have time to post, I don't. Like when, if I'm in the middle of wedding season or something, I slow down posting for a month or two, and it's not a big deal. Like, I don't care if...
I still give you a hard time.
Yeah, you do, but I don't care if people expect videos in a certain amount of time. I have a life. Like, they can get over it. Like, people don't... I don't owe them anything because, like, they don't pay me money unless you're a Patreon subscriber to the podcast.
I feel like I gotta stop this. I feel like we've been talking too much about YouTube advice. Like, this just kind of makes me depressed.
He asked for YouTube advice.
We're talking about YouTube advice.
He asked for YouTube advice. What's depressing about that? Billions of dollars go through YouTube every year.
I mean, it's a sad world.
It's just a guy who's making a movie. What's the difference?
Joel, you make billions and, like, selling.
It's not the silver screen. It's not the silver screen.
No, I'm not talking...
There are kids in dorm rooms in college making millions of dollars a year on YouTube.
I hate them.
Hey, Joel. Yeah. What year did you start posting videos to your YouTube channel?
2005?
And when was the last time you posted a video to your YouTube channel?
2006?
Joel,
Not true.
Joel, when's the last time you posted a video?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't
Maybe 2014, early 2014.
No, like 4 weeks ago.
Oh really?
Wait, what was it? What was it?
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of forget that it posts to YouTube.
Okay. Anyway, so that's our best advice is like
You hate yourself.
you definitely want to have good thumbnails.
I don't post it for anyone. I post it for you guys because I
Thanks.
can't share it any
That's
other
the
way.
whole
I can't
point.
share it anywhere else.
Post it for
PS4
yourself.
doesn't allow me to.
Post stuff that you like, even if you're just sharing with friends that you like and that your friends might like, and then if it blows up from there, be happy about that.
But yeah, if you're expecting to be successful, you're gonna have to do it for a very long time, and you're gonna have to be good for a long time when only 5 people want to look at your stuff and watch it. And that's just kind of the nature of the business. It gets harder and harder every year. So I guess I can't speak for Dave. I'm not expecting to become a big success doing this. I'm not at all interested in that. The amount of time versus the amount of like money that I get out of YouTube, I'd be better off doing like any other way I make money. It makes way more money per hour than YouTube. But YouTube is a ton of fun. So that's why I'm doing it.
Speak for yourself, Jeremiah. One of us has been to London. Once, briefly.
Shilling for Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One, you peasant.
You are. No, guys, I'm totally good with the controllers.
Dave,
How
I
much
watched that video.
sightseeing did you
I
get
watched
to
that
do?
video of Dave standing there for hours on end, looking so happy. He was so excited to be there.
Oh,
Very
it's a
happy.
fun experience, and that's the thing. Is like you can have plenty of fun experiences that don't really benefit you necessarily in the long run. But if you enjoyed it, that is a benefit. Like if you have fun.
I
doing it,
enjoyed
do it.
watching the video, hoping to see Dave, and we never got to see him.
But Ben, if you want to
saw
send,
it.
like before you launch, if you want to send us any links to unlisted videos or something, we'll happily like give you some critiques or something. Like privately, we'll email you back if you're curious. But neither Dave or I are like YouTube experts or anything. I mean, Dave is obviously his channel's a lot more successful than mine, but
Essentially, YouTube is total war.
but neither of us would claim to be like
video's not good because
masters at
Civil
YouTube.
War soldiers.
But then last questions. Any specific recommendations for the videos? What format, video, audio, codec, etc. to maximize the quality on YouTube? I'll be using some source footage ranging from 720p to 1080p. Render at the highest resolution any of your footage is. The other stuff will upscale well enough for YouTube.
Yep.
Render for 1080p, render at least like 20 to 25 megabit per second.
Yep.
Depending on your internet speed. Pretty much any format YouTube will accept, so render whatever works for you. But just do a couple test renders. Render like 30 seconds at a time of like maybe an MOV, an H264. Like see what your computer can render in a decent amount of time and see what works well on YouTube. Both Dave and I have good success with AVC MP4s around 25 megabit per second for 1080p, and then for big videos we upscale them to 1440p or render at 1440p
Or 4K.
sometimes 4K, not because the source quality gets really any better, but because YouTube, when it sees that resolution, will let you play the video at a higher bit rate, and it ends up looking a lot better because of that.
Does it look better at 1080p?
Well, here's the thing: if you have a 1080p display, you watch 1080p on YouTube, it'll be like 3.5 to 5 megabit per second. If you watch the 1440p version, it still is on a 1080p screen,
looks
but it'll
more
be
like
like
1080p.
10 megabit per second, so it'll actually look
7.
good. 7? I thought it was like 10.
No, it's not that much more. It's like 7 or 8. Yeah.
It's a noticeable bump in quality. It's not insane, but like, so it just lets you have more options, basically.
I like that Dave rendered like a massive 19 gig H1Z1 file. It's like, does it matter?
No, that was an accident. It was supposed to be 26 megabit. I
He
did
rendered it
50
better
by
than
accident.
Blu-ray bitrate.
H1 like.
All right,
Yeah.
so anyway, that's
Gotta
the mail
see that
time.
crappy
Thank you
man.
for writing in, guys. I'll be emailing you with links and stuff afterwards. Joel, it's now time for 90 Seconds with You, a part of the podcast where you do whatever you want for as long as you want.
And we're all here in person, so that really
You had
doesn't
something
mean-
written down for your 90 seconds.
Pillow fight!
No. Nope, that's not it.
All you can hear is
Debbie is running back into the room. She's excited.
Okay, can you read off?
Wait.
Oh,
me
hey.
too.
Johnny woke up!
I didn't go to sleep.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got him
I can't. Hey, is it raining?
No, it's the air.
Dang. Oh, it's air?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
Joel.
How's it rain?
Joel, focus.
Okay.
Focus. It's your segment.
Oh, what is that? Huh?
No, Joel, focus. We're in the middle of something. Jesse, stop distracting me. Sitting here is a privilege, not a right.
Okay, read just the.
Joel's H1Z1 voice.
Oh, okay.
I feel really, really bad about this, okay? So...
Not bad enough to not say it, though.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm not that ashamed.
I'm super ashamed. No, I mean, not that ashamed.
I was ashamed at the
super
moment
ashamed.
because I felt bad because I continued playing with this kid. Okay, that's sort of...
Joe, get into the context really quickly.
Hurry!
Don't giggle. Stop giggling.
Is that what you said to him, Phil?
I'm just kidding.
Hurry. Go. All right, Joel.
Oh, man.
Give him
Okay,
a
so I'm
pedophile
playing-
quotient for the podcast.
James is on TeamSpeak. I can't find James, but I'm hanging out with the other guys. Another random guy joins our group, and he's like, "Hey guys, you guys want to you guys gonna see where all the loot is or whatever?" He's just talking with us like, I was like, dude, are you talking like Batman? And I said it all sarcastic like that, and he goes, "Oh, sorry, man, my voice is like this. I got hurt sometime, and this is all I can speak like this. It's some kind of disease." And I was like, really bad, because like, why are you talking like Batman?
It's a condition.
He was totally sincere, like straight up like, "Oh, I'm sorry, is it bothering you?" I'm like, "It's just how my voice is, I'm sorry." I was like, "Oh, dude, it's alright, I'm sorry." I felt horrible. And then for the rest of the night, James was like, "Hey Joel, remember that time you called someone out saying the sound like Batman?" I was like, it's kind of a good thing.
There's better Batman than like a lot of other voices.
Yeah, but I just felt like, "You talking like Batman?" He's like, "I'm so sorry, man."
Alright, it's now time for the comment of the week.
Comments of
Actually,
the
90
week.
seconds.
Comments? What?
That was actually 90 seconds.
It was about 90 seconds, yeah.
That was the first.
It's now time for comments of the week. We used to time them. The part of the podcast. Joel! Focus!
I'm adding funny stuff to the podcast.
Is that pancakes? Oh, knee slapper!
I'm so entertained.
No, it is
He
pancakes!
comes out of nowhere eating pancakes. Like, dude, it's freaking 11:45. Like, pancakes. Are they just straight cold?
Cold pancakes!
Who eats cold pancakes?
John does because he doesn't care.
That's pretty good.
Dave, they're not pancakes. They're eggs and bananas smashed together.
Oh,
it's not even
that makes more
pancakes.
sense.
They're special gluten snowflake pancakes. Love you, John. Okay, so Dave, it's time for your comments of the week.
Comments
Show
of the
us
week.
How tolerant and forgiving the internet can be.
Our first comment is one of our first ARMA missions based off of a real life mission based off of Operation Red Wings.
Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor, basically. The mission actually went surprisingly well, even though it was like a really old mission and didn't transfer well from the alpha version of ARMA to the final. Except for like Chris's gear never loaded, so we had like all these cool loadouts, like the boonie hats, the SEAL style gear, and the guns. But Chris was just like in like tighty whities and like a tracksuit shirt. It's like the whole time like we're like running from all the insurgents and trying to get to the helicopters, and like people are dying. It's supposed to be like a serious mission, and Chris is just like naked. Got a comment. The guy in his underwear ruined the immersion.
Like you're gonna be watching a video going, it's
Dave,
so real.
Dave, you know that was you at like 14.
Probably.
That guy would have ruined the
Or
immersion.
20.
Or 20, yeah. Or like yesterday.
Imagine Dave 10% less tolerant.
No, it was worse. Our next comment. I'm going to actually read the comment first and the title of the video that the comment was posted on. Console aim skill, so boring again. It's not PC. Posted on Awesome Moments in Battlefield Bad Company 2, parentheses, PC. Title of the video.
What the heck?
And as usual, our Total War comments on really old
It's
Total
like
War
it's
videos.
its own special, like, reports from the battwofield, from the battlefront.
Posted, yeah. Posted on episode 1 of Total War.
We need a
Posted.
fife to play right there.
Yeah.
That would actually be amazing. So can you whistle for this actually for me, just real quick? That's pretty legit.
Cough, cough,
All
cough.
that smoke as a young 13-year-old in the war.
So this comment is posted on the first episode of Total War, posted in 2013, and this is written in all caps, so I am just going to yell it.
Oh gosh.
Stop saying cavalry, you piece of shit! It's cavalry! That's been our comments of the week.
Thank you.
Someone's
Dave.
got a bit of hatred.
As anyone's curious, most of the arguing has died down on the potato masher video. The only thing we got this week was someone insinuated that the only way to get parts that cheap was if they were stolen. And if I insinuated, he literally said that. So thank you, everyone.
Well, I mean, Jeremiah did sell his body for these parts.
So I didn't.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the cheap prices.
But thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, thank you for rating us on iTunes. Listen to us there. Thank you for sending in an email. We really like it. We like answering your questions. You can follow us at Casual.
Joel doesn't.
We can follow you, or you follow us. We're not going to follow you. At Casual Shenanigans on Twitter. At JERMgaming.
If you're gonna write into us, write better emails.
Joel, one have your mail time as the subject line, like written out mail time parentheses Joel voice.
The people love you. Don't drive them away.
Love them back, Joel.
No, all my hatred drives them closer here. It's like an
Joel.
abusive relationship. They like what?
Finish it.
Yeah, Joel. Before
I
the
got
podcast
one. Okay, I'll
ends,
finish the last sip of this.
It's not
goat
even a
blood.
sip.
Go blood.
It's called dragon blood?
It's Viking blood.
Viking blood. It's wine. All right,
are
anyway.
you warm now, Joel?
Feeling toasty.
You can follow us at Casual Shenanigans, at JERMgaming, at Evil Viking on Twitter. You can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. We hope to talk more about H1Z1 in the coming weeks as we play more of it.
Yes.
And because Debbie is our H1Z1 expert, can you take us out this week? That's not the ending of the podcast.
Oh.
Wait, I wanted to say something about the reviews.
Slap a goat.
Can I say something about the reviews for like a second, please?
All right.
Are you guys gonna rush? Oh, you guys
No,
are
no.
gonna leave?
Joel
right
can
after
say
this?
that, and then Debbie, you're doing a proper ending. Take it seriously.
Like what kind of proper ending?
Do you ever listen to the ending of the
I
podcast?
do, but I don't like it.
All right. Well,
Mean.
after it's mean.
It's mean. What
Stay casual is mean.
Oh, I thought it was slap a seal.
That's not the real ending.
It's becoming more popular.
That got
Slap a
introduced-
seal is better.
Why?
Or
Because
slap
it's
your
freaking
seal.
retarded and it's funny and people remember it.
All right, Joel, talk about the reviews real quick.
I was looking at the podcast and I was like, oh, I wonder if we got any reviews because the last time I looked was like over a year and a half ago. And I was like, looking at the reviews, I was like, wow, there's like people that enjoy this podcast. It was just kind of surprising, like people actually.
You know people do listen to this.
No,
right?
I know that.
Live,
I know that. Like I know that. I mean, people obviously send emails
Joel, how many
and
people
want
do
to
you
know
think
about tech
how many
crap.
people do you think listen to the podcast? Each episode. on
At
average.
least 12.
All right. Thanks, Joel.
I'm just saying the reviews are pretty cool. I was reading them, I was like, thanks people for enjoying the podcast. It's kind of awesome.
We
So.
do appreciate it. We really appreciate that you guys enjoy the
I
podcast.
wish we could start a podcast so I can just review them and be like, you guys are nice people.
All right. I don't feel like your podcast would stay like that for long. Joel just says nice things about you.
I subscribe.
If Joel could make it through a whole podcast just saying nice things about people for more than one episode, I would love to watch that. All right, Debbie, can you take us out properly?
And as always, folks, stay casual.